Dear students, the chapter I will talk about today is entitled Writing a Bibliography APA Format. As you know, in any reference, you will find at the end, whether it's a book or an article, you will find a list of references. Writing them is very important for any reader in case he would like to consult them. So make sure that you include all the references that you have cited in your research paper. When we examine research papers or even PhD theses, we find many times that some students mention some references in the list of their bibliography which was not used. Or sometimes we can find some works which are cited inside the text but are not mentioned at the end in the list of references. That's why please make sure not to forget to cite any reference that you have cited inside your text and to exclude any reference that you have not seen. Of course, you should not mention references that were indirectly consulted. Today I will talk about the APA format style. But as you know, there are many styles to write a bibliography. And the most common are the APA, or the American Psychological Association, and the MLA, Modern Language Association. Today, I focused on the APA format, not because of any preference, but for a simple reason that I did not want to confuse you and talk about different styles. What matters is that you have to use the style you like or you want and be consistent. You should not mix between styles. So how do we write this bibliographic information? Normally, it is mentioned at the end of your paper in a new page with a centered title, references, and all your references should be listed in an alphabetical order, starting with the family name of the author and followed by the initials of the first and middle name if any. In case you have a reference in which the author's name is not mentioned, then you can start by the title of the reference and of course following the alphabetical order. Now here we have an example of 3 authors. You have Hassan, so here the family name, and then we have a comma, and then the initial, the first letter of the first name, first letter of the middle name, and then Tradgil, family name, comma, and then initial of the first name, and a full stop. And you see that there is organized in alphabetical order. You have H in Hassan, then T, and then V. Italics. Now the format of italics is normally used for titles of books. Now here we have an example. You see here that we don't have a name of an author, and I have started with the title of the book, and the title of the book is italicized, followed by the date of publication between parentheses. Now, according to a recent updating of the APA style of 2019, it states that in the case where the author is unknown, you can start with the word anonymous and then followed by the date of publication. We have here another reference, Hassan, R.A., the date of publication between parentheses, and here the title Sociolinguistics, as you can see, it is italicized. So, concerning capitalization, abbreviation, and punctuation, the APA format style is following the usual format of a sentence. In other words, titles are written starting with the capital letter just in the first letter in the first word. Now here we have an example. As you can see, it's the author family name, K, comma, initials of both first and middle name followed by a full stop, and then you have the date of publication between parentheses and a full stop. And here, as you can see, I have started with a capital letter, review of Arabic. Here we have a capital letter in Arabic, and this is an exception in the case we have a name. So generally, only the first letter of the first word in the title is capitalized according to the APA format style. In the case where you have a name, then it should be capitalized, the first letter. And here, as you can see, all the other words, no letter is capitalized. Now, in the case where you have a reference written by more than one author, you start with the family name of the first author, comma, initial of both first name and middle name followed by full stops, a comma, ampersand. Then in the same order, you have the family name of the second author, comma, and then the initials of both first name and middle name followed by full stop. In the case where you have a reference with more than 6 authors, it is stated as follows. So you have the family name of the first author, comma, and then the initial here, K, of his first name, followed by et al., which means and others. Yet, according to a recent updating of 2019, in the APA format style, it is possible to mention up to 20 authors if they have all participated in writing an article. And as you can see here, we have stated 19 references, names of authors, and then before the last one, we use an ellipsis and we write no ampersand is used, and followed by the last author, and then of course the title of the reference. In the case where we have 2 or more works by the same author, now here the alphabetical order will not work because we have the same name. Then we will order the 2 references according to the date of publication. As you can see here, we start with the oldest one or the older, and then followed by the most recent. So here we have 2011 followed by 2015. Now, we have another case in which we have the same author who has participated in writing 2 articles. In one, he is the only writer, and in another one, there are two authors. In this case, and especially if they were published in the same date, as you can see here, 2014. So we start with the article in which we have just one author, all right? And then in the second, we write the one in which we have two authors. And as you can see, wherever we have an abbreviation, it is followed by a full stop, like the case here. It's we understand that it is editor in the singular, while here it is editors in plural, and it is followed by a full stop. Now, in the case where we have the same first author but different second and third authors, and especially when the date of publication is the same, 2014. So we start with the first name of the first author, again, family name, comma, initials of the first and middle name, followed by full stops, and then a comma, and then all the names of those who have participated in the article organized in alphabetical order. So you can see that here we have the first name Capiza, C, and here the second name Reed, R, and Wesselman, W. They are organized in alphabetical order. So we do the same for the second reference. Now, in the case where we have two or more works published by the same author in the same year, as in this case. Now here, we should mention a small a and a small b in the second reference, showing to the reader that the two articles were published in the same year, and of course it's by the same author. As you can see, it's burned in the two references. Now, concerning the date of publication, normally we put the date of publication after the initial of the first name and middle name if it exists, and generally we put the date of publication between parentheses followed by a full stop. And here you see the title of the book italicized because it's a book. We don't italicize titles of articles for a simple reason that your reader should be able to distinguish while reading your references whether it's the title of a book or an article. It's very important. So in case I want an article, if I see that the title is italicized, I will know that it is a book, so I will not see it. So please try to distinguish between titles of books and titles of articles. There are also other possibilities concerning titles of articles, is that we can use inverted commas or underline. You can use whatever you want, provided that you keep on following the same rule. Now here we have an example. You see again, we start with the family name, comma, and then the initial or the first letter of the first name followed by a full stop, and then date of publication between parentheses followed by a full stop. And here the title, cost-benefit analysis in language planning. You can see that it is not italicized, and we understand that it is a title of an article. Now, how do we write a reference which refers to a title of a book? Now here we have an example of a book written by Treadgill. We start with the family name, comma, first letter of the first name, followed by a full stop. The date of publication is put between parentheses, and then followed by a full stop. The title, Sociolinguistics, An Introduction to Language and Society, you can see that it is italicized because it's a title of a book, and then followed by a city, and we finish with the house of publication. Here we have Penguin. Another example, in the case where we have a book written by two authors. So we start with the family name of the first author, comma, initials of the first name and middle name, comma, ampersand, then family name again of the second author, comma, and initials of the first and middle name, followed by the date of publication between parentheses, and followed by a full stop. And as you can see, the title here, Presenting Your Findings, a Practical Guide for Creating Tables, you can see that it is italicized because it is a title of a book, followed by the city, and we end up with the house of publication. In the case where you refer to an article in an encyclopedia or a dictionary, now here we have the case of Encyclopedia Britannica. Again, the same ordering. We start with the family name of the author, comma, then initials of both first and middle name, and date of publication between parentheses, followed by a full stop, and here the title, Relativity. And as you can see, it is not italicized because it's not the title of a book. What is interesting is that the name of the encyclopedia should be put in italics, the new Encyclopedia Britannica, and you have to mention the number of the volume. You can see that I have used here an abbreviation of volume, and whenever you have an abbreviation, make sure to use a full stop. So number of the volume, comma, then the pages, again an abbreviation, a full stop, and here 501 and 508 shows the pages where you can find this article, and of course the city and the house of publication. The next example, we have taken something from a dictionary. So here the Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. Make sure to mention which edition, and you see here that I have put a full stop after ed because it's an abbreviation of the word edition between parentheses, followed by a full stop, then date of publication between parentheses, followed by a full stop, and then the city and the house of publication. In the case where you have a title or an article taken from a magazine or a newspaper, same order. We start with the family name of the author, a comma, initials of his first and middle name, date of publication between parentheses, followed by a full stop. Here the title, Fundamentals for Preparing Psychology Journal Articles. As you can see, it's not italicized because it is a title of an article. And then the journal title is or should be italicized, Journal of Comparative and Psychological Psychology, the number of the journal, and the pages where you will find the article. Another article, this time taken from the newspaper The Time, and here again the family name of the author, a comma, initials of the middle and first name, date of publication between parentheses, and here if you have the exact month you should mention it. The title, Making the Grade in Today's School, you see that it is not italicized because it is a title of an article. but the title of the newspaper should be italicized, and here the number and the number of the pages where the article can be found. Last but not least, articles taken from a website or a web page. Now here, as you can see, family name of the author, comma, initial of the first name, followed by a full stop, the year in which the article was uploaded or published, 2001, and here the month, if we have it, and then the title, Lightning Endures 4 at Music Festival. It is not italicized because it's a title of an article. But as you can remark, according to the APA format, you have to mention the time or the date where you have retrieved your article. As you can see here, I have retrieved this article, or it was retrieved on the January 23rd, 2002. So the article was published in 2001, but it was retrieved only in 2002. It's very important to mention the date when it was retrieved, because content on the net can be modified. And the most important thing is that you have to include the internet link from where you have downloaded or your article, or you have accessed it. It's very important. So again, when you put this internet link, it's very easy for any reader who would like to consult the article to just click on the link and be directed automatically towards the article. That's why, dear students, make sure to copy well the link. It will be very embarrassing and not helpful if you copy half of the link, and then when someone would like to use your reference, when he clicks on the link, it leads to nowhere. The references that I have used are mentioned here. Okay, to recapitulate, today I have given a presentation about how to write your list of references following the APA format style. And as I have told you, there are many styles. The most common are the APA and the MLA. In this presentation, I have focused on the APA in order not to confuse you, but feel free to use any style provided that you are consistent. So no mixing between different styles is allowed. Those list of references, remember that they should be put at the end of your research paper on a new page under a title which is centered, namely references, and your references should be ordered in alphabetical order, starting with the author's family name, plus the initials of just the first and middle name. And of course, now here, remember to organize alphabetically all the names of the authors that you have used. In the case where you have a title of a book, it should be italicized. It's very important in order to distinguish between books and articles. In the case where you don't know the name of the author, we said that it is possible to start with the title of the book or the article, and you follow, of course, the alphabetical order. But according to the recent updating of the APA format in 2019, it is possible to start with the word anonymous and date of publication. In the APA format style, normally titles are written in the format of a sentence. So you start by capitalizing the first letter of the first word, but in case you have a name inside the title, of course you have to capitalize the first letter. Otherwise, you capitalize only the first letter of the title. So in the case where you have two authors, you start in the same order: family name of the first author, comma, initials of the first and middle name, ampersand, and then the family name of the second author and his initials of first and middle name. But in the case where you have more than 6 authors, it is possible to write just the family name of the first author and of course the initial of his first name and middle name, followed by et al., which means and others. But according to recent updating of the APA format, it is possible now to write up to 20 authors' names. Make sure to put an ellipsis before the 20th name of the author, so no need for the ampersand in this case. In the case where you have 2 works which are written by the same author, you order them following the date of publication from the older one to the newer one. In the case where you have one author who has written an article alone and the same author has written another article with another author, you start with the one in which he appears alone. Again, when you have the same first author, you have 2 references where you have the same first author and you have many other authors and different authors, you have to order the second, third, etc. authors in alphabetical order. Now, when you have 2 articles written by the same author in the same year, then you have to use small a after the date of publication and small b for the second reference. Now here, remember that the date of publication is mentioned automatically after the initial of the first name or middle name if it exists, and put between parentheses and followed by a full stop. We don't italicize title of articles for a simple reason that you would like to make a difference between an article and the title of a book. So if you have a book, you need the family name of the author, initial of his first name, date of publication, title of the book italicized, and then the city and house of publication. In the case where you have a reference taken from a dictionary or an encyclopedia, now here again it's the same order: the author and the family name of the author, initials of his first and middle name, date of publication, title of the article. Remember that it should not be italicized, but here remember that we should italicize the name of either the encyclopedia or the dictionary. Remember again to mention the number of the volume, number of pages where you can find your article, and also concerning a dictionary, mention the edition, and of course whenever you have an abbreviation, don't forget to use a full stop after. If it is a magazine or a newspaper, it's the same order. Again, remember that titles of articles should not be italicized, but titles of journals and titles of newspapers and titles of magazines should be italicized. Don't forget to mention the number and then the number of the pages where you will find the article. Last but not least, whenever you take a reference from internet, again, you follow the same order. Then don't forget, please, to mention the date when you have retrieved it. Why? Because the content on the net can be modified. And don't forget to copy the link of the internet so that it can help anyone who would like to consult that reference. Thank you very much.